Let me guess your current situation. You're wanting to apply to all these engineering internships, so you try to make a resume, but literally halfway through the page, you realize there's nothing left to talk about. And I've been in that situation, having no industrial experience, no design club experience, not even any engineering competitions held at the school experience. But despite all of that, I still managed to secure my very first engineering internship within only a 2-week job hunt for a position at nearly double minimum wage. All because I knew how to utilize the limited experiences that I did have and build a polished resume. So what I want to start off by saying here is that you actually do have experiences, but you just haven't considered them yet. And of course, I'm talking about course projects. And they may not be professional, but what you got to realize is that professional work is actually not required for these internship positions that you're applying for in the engineering industry, right? If these companies wanted someone with experience, already graduated, they wouldn't be putting out these internship applications on LinkedIn and Indeed and Glassdoor. They wouldn't. No, they wouldn't. They're looking for students who have a drive to get started and jumpstart their career in the engineering industry. They're looking for these kinds of people. You're in the right spot right now. And let's look at an example of something that I put in my resume. This is an example of a biomass consultation engineering project. This is from an English course from my second year of university. And I put that in my resume. Yeah, and it was useful. Now you might be thinking, oh, there was nothing much to talk about. But this is a group project that I had to talk about biofuel consumption about, and I had to talk about consultation as if I was theoretically working with these indigenous communities. This is a useful project, and it has many different skills that are appealing to several types of recruiters depending on the position and depending on the industry of that company. Okay, so if you think about this way, like, oh, this is boring, there's nothing to talk about, no one will see this as interesting, then you're gonna miss opportunities to showcase those useful skills that are actually appealing to these recruiters that you're sending your resume out to. Okay, and what's your other choice? What's your other choice of experience to talk about, right? So talk about these course projects, not just because you have nothing to talk about, but they actually are important in the engineering industry and they're appealing for recruiters. They have those golden skills that they're looking for. Okay, you're a freaking engineer, so think like one. Think like one. Be resourceful. There's energy sustainability in this project. There was strategic consultation and leadership and teamwork. These are 3 different sections, juicy sections that were included in my project when I did it in that second year of university. Now for energy sustainability, this will obviously appeal to sustainable power companies, and consultation companies will be attracted by this strategic consultation sort of section of the project. And the fact that I was able to be a leader in this group and work with a team is going to be important in pretty much any company. Because all companies, no matter how small or big they are, whether they're Tesla, NASA, or a small startup, they're going to need someone that is a leader, someone that knows how to work in a team. Okay, so you could talk about pretty much any group project in your resume. And I hope you realize that. Now, when you put it in your actual resume, you could very much just put every single detail about the project in a concise manner. Talk about the biomass, talk about the leadership, talk about the consultation, and talk about the energy system. But would that appeal to every single company? Like, say I'm applying to a structural engineering company as a project manager position, right? Would biomass, consultation, energy system, would that all be attractive to them? No, that wouldn't, but leadership would. However, by the time that they're reading the resume and get to leadership, they already lost interest because you talk about biomass, that's not where they're looking for. They already swiped your resume away. And you don't want that to happen, okay? So that's what happens when you're general in your resume. That's like giving a Caesar salad with a bit of chicken in it to a fox. A chicken Caesar salad to a fox. Foxes are like, they're carnivores, right? Only the chicken would appeal to them, not the lettuce, not the dressing, not the cheese. That wouldn't appeal to them. So those vegetables that might draw the fox away, and you might not attract it at all, despite the fact that there is chicken in there. So in the same way, if you're giving your resume to a project manager recruiter of, say, a structural engineering company, as I said, they'd only be attracted to the leadership traits that you displayed and you learned from this type of project. They wouldn't be attracted to biomass consultation and energy system. No, not at all, because that's a structural engineering company. So these other things, this load of fluff in your resume is not going to help you at all. As a matter of fact, it could actually harm the chance of you getting that job, because you're talking about it and they're not interested at all, and they're going to lose interest. And as I said, they'll flip that resume away. That's not what you want at all. So you got to be very concise, ultra focused, one might say. You're going to say your specific role in that project. You're the project coordinator. That's what I was when I was in this example of a project. You know, you're going to talk about leadership only. Only the skills of a project manager. Okay? Think about back to the fox analogy. You're not going to want to give a salad, but you're going to want to give steaks. You're going to want to give lamb chops. You're going to want to give chicken wings. That's what would attract a fox to come over to you. So in the same way, give a resume something that would appeal to a project manager recruiter in a specific type of industry. Don't talk about consultation, energy system. No, don't talk about any of that, okay? Talk about leadership and leadership only. Only the skills of a project manager. And when you do that, that's how you get the interview. That's how you secure the internship. And that's how you develop your career. Okay, and I understand you might not be very experienced in this kind of stuff of building the perfect resume and perfect portfolio, perfect cover letter, but you're in luck today because the top link in the description shows you how to do that step by step in my program. Okay, it's a video course that shows you how to make the perfect applications, even if you've had zero professional experience in the past, because I myself have been in your exact situation, yet I still succeeded. Okay, and there's even templates in there as a complete bonus for resumes, portfolios, and cover letters. So I made them all pretty for you, so you don't have to do that. That's the hard part. You don't have to do that. I made it super easy for you. Click the top link in the description. So for this specific project, when I put in my resume, this is the words that I used when I was applying to roles that needed leadership. Okay, and you might be thinking, oh, how are you going to talk about leadership for 3 different points? Wouldn't that be repetitive? But no, actually, there's different branches that comes with leadership. Okay, there's different traits of a leader. And I showcase that through my 3 points right here. Right here, I said that I assigned different roles and that I set deadlines. That's what a leader does, is it not? In my second point, I said that I led team meetings. And so I made sure that everyone was on the same page during those meetings. That's another trait of a leader, right? And in my third point, I said that I manage workflow, and that's another point of a leader. So you see, it's not repetitive at all, as long as you say the different traits of a leader, as what I did here, okay? And you could see how I completely ignored the energy system design part of that project. I only talked about the leadership, okay? Because anything else is just like lettuce to a fox. And that's how you attract hiring managers for project managers. Okay? You attract them like this magnet right here. Now let's say you want to apply to an energy system company like Nextera, like a company like that specializes in sustainable energy. At that point, you would talk about the energy planning, you would talk about the health and safety, and you would talk about the integrated sustainability goals that were integrated in that project. Okay, that's when you would use it, not when you're applying to completely unrelated companies. Okay, and then again, you would attract the hiring managers for sustainable energy companies. That's how you do it. That's the professional way to do it. Now let's say you're applying to maybe the government The government has to do a lot of consultation, you know? So at that point, you'd talk about the actual objective of this project, which was to consult with indigenous communities. Because governments do that. They do a lot of consultation with indigenous communities. That's a major part of a position in the government, right? So if you could show you have that skill, that's going to attract hiring managers at the government team. So you could also talk about the ethical framework. You could talk about the historical and research part of it. Okay, all these things, they're appealing to the recruiters that you're sending this type of resume to. Okay? And those three examples right there is how you use your resume as a magnet to attract the hiring managers of your desired internship position. Now, one last thing that I want to leave you with before we end this video is that, like pawns on a chessboard, your course projects may seem powerless, but can actually lead to victory if used strategically. Okay? So join the engineering employment program today. Link in the description. I'll give you all the templates. You'll have instant access to them, and you'll have a video course to make the perfect applications for your internships so that you could develop your career.